Welcome to Urban Synergy's Youth Newsdesk. Joining me in the studio today are former young mayor Jacob and Chris, advisor. Preparing young people for the workplace is very important to our charity and is what we'll be discussing today. So, Jacob, as young mayor, what was your main responsibilities?
As young mayor, our main responsibility is to make sure we're first and foremost a spokesperson for young people in Lewisham. So that means basically, although we're in the council, we're basically a link between the young people and the adults who run the council, especially the mayor. Okay. And yeah.
And Chris, so what was your responsibility advising?
My responsibility advising young mayor involved literally supporting them and when they're going out to give their civic meetings, speeches at conferences, making sure they're prepared, making sure they know what the topics they're going to actually speak about, and literally just voicing out the opinions of how it feels like to be a young person and what changes they would literally like to make around Lewisham itself. So that was literally the main responsibility, is to make sure that they were at the right place at the right time, speaking to the right people.
So being young people, what do you think were the main challenges that face young people in Lewisham and London as a whole?
To me, I would say it's their mindset, because obviously a lot of young people have been through so much that they've just sort of given up. So it's kind of changing the mindset to let them know that there's still opportunities out there for them. And obviously, like, because of all this media that's always sharing the negativity about the young people, it's always trying to like show that there's still good projects going on out there, good events, opportunity for them to get back into work, employment, into education. It's just to, changing the mindset, not to give up totally.
Yeah. Jacob?
I think there's a lot of challenges facing young people nowadays. I think there's always that expectation, what route do I go down in order to be successful, and what is successful? I think if a young person is not academic, what's the other option for them? If a young person is more vocational, does it necessarily mean that they're considered undervalued or don't really have a future as someone who might want to become a lawyer or something like that? So I think in terms of the career paths that we choose as young people, it can be quite challenging based upon how well you do in school. I think also we have a problem with role models. In our community, we tend to think if we need a role model, it has to be a celebrity. It can't be someone that's living in our borough. When we look at the word success, does that mean I can still live in Lewisham, go to a school in Lewisham, go to university, and still be successful? Do I have to move out that area in order to achieve what we want to achieve in life? So I think there's a lot of things that young people are questioning themselves with when it comes to what do I do next?
Okay.
And that's not their fault.
Yeah. So the Economics and Peace Index ranked Lewisham to be the least peaceful place to live in the UK. I mean,
it's crazy.
Coming from Lewisham, what's your opinion on this, Jacob?
I think, every area has its negatives and it has its positives as well. But to be called the least peaceful place, I think that's totally a misconception. I think,
what do you think are the good points about living in the UK?
Well, one of the best points, that I love about Lewisham is very multicultural. You have people from different backgrounds, so we bring different things to the whole idea of what it is to be in a community and respect the community. I think something that's interesting about Lewisham has a lot of promise. We have a high proportion of young people in our borough, and they're very interested in making sure we can shape that borough that involves young people through all the processes. And I think the fact that we have the Young Mayors program goes to show that the local government does have an idea of what it is to interact with young people. But I do think some things need to be improved on for us to have that relationship a bit more stronger.
And what's your take on this?
I've lived in Lewisham for over 9 years. I'm from back at, then till now, Lewisham has literally gone from actually a long way from what they actually said that being the least peaceful borough in the borough. Because what it is that at the end of the day, like, Lewisham, as Jacob said, is a very, very intercultural borough. Another good thing is that we have police stations all over the place, so there's no way that could have been possible, knowing that the biggest police station in the whole of London is in Lewisham. And if you think about the riots, Lewisham was the least affected by it as well. There wasn't literally hardly any damage that actually happened in Lewisham during the riots. So for that news to actually come out in the newspaper, I thought that was just
fairly biased.
Yeah, really, really, really biased. And whatever they have against Lewisham, they need to come down and actually live in Lewisham themselves, because literally it's local to everywhere. Like, very, very central.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chris and Jacob. Urban Synergy looks forward to working in close partnership with the young mayors of Lewisham. In the future, hope that the viewers who watch this will offer youth work experience in London. For more information, visit us on urbansynergy.com or follow us on Twitter @urbansynergy.